Hi lovely people, welcome back to my tutorial for today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for your support. And please, if this is your first time stopping by, kindly help us by hitting on that red icon to subscribe. And also touch the notification bell to be the first to be notified whenever I upload a new video. So now today's class, we shall be looking at how to make a very fitted short gown with some ruffles at the chest parts and also a flap. Okay, so looking at the picture, you will see that the picture there is a long gown with a three-quarter sleeve. But my client said she wants hers to be short and a short sleeve. Okay, so here I have my fabric and I folded it into four. It will be having a zipper at the back part because it's a high neck. Okay, all right. So here I'll be taking the measurement. So the length I'm working with is 37 inches. Okay, so I'll be adding extra 1 inch for our folding. Okay, all right. So I'll just take our 37 plus 1, that is 38 inches. Okay. Okay, the half length I'm working with is 14 inches. So from the shoulder, I'll take our 14 inches. Okay, which is here. Then from the waist to the hip line is 9 inches. So I'll just make a straight line to connect it. Okay, so the next thing to take now is our shoulder measurement, and the shoulder I'm working with is 14 inches into 2 to give us 7 inches. So here I'll mark my 7 inches. Okay, then I'll mark the shoulder slope of 3 inches. So from those 7 inches now, I'll come down by 1 inch for our shoulder slope. And the armhole I'm working with is 15 inches into 2 to give us 7.5. So I'll mark the 7.5. Now let me just take back the 7.5, sorry, the 7 inches, which is the shoulder measurement. So I will know where I will connect my line. Okay, so I'll just connect this to the shoulder measurement. Okay, so I'll make a straight line here where I'll be taking our bust measurement. Okay, so the bust I'm working with is 34 inches into 4 to give us 34 into 4 to give us 8.5 inches. So here I'll mark 8.5. Okay, so because this is um a shaped gown, I won't be adding any allowance to it. Okay, so here I'll just add my seam allowance of 1 inch. Okay, the waist I'm working with is 27 inches into 4 to give us 6.75. 6.75. All right, so here I'll also add our sewing allowance of 1 inch. Then the hip I'm working with is 36 inches into 4 to give us 9 inches. So I'll mark my 9 inch, then I'll add extra inch for seam allowance. Okay, so what I have at the waistline altogether now is 10 inches. So I'll just take it down to my hem line and also mark the same 9 inches there. Then after that, I can now connect this. Okay, so at my hemline, I'll also mark my 10 inches here. So I'll just connect this. Okay, I won't be making it pencil because it won't be having a slit and the material is not a stretchy one. Okay, if not, I would have make it pencil a little bit at the down part. But because of the material, I'll just be making just be doing it straight. Okay, all right. So for the armhole, just find your midpoint. Okay, so let me just connect my shoulder slope. Then find your midpoint and connect your armhole, or you can make use of your French curve. So here we have 7.5 into 2 will give us 3.75. 3.75, okay? So here I will just connect this 3.75 to my bust measurement. Okay, so this is for the back. So for the front, I'll come out here by half an inch, then connect it from my shoulder line, then connect to that half inch, then connect back to my bust measurement. Okay, so this is not the first time that I'm teaching on how to curve this our armhole. So you can, if you're not seeing this, because this chalk is not coming out the way I want, so if you're not seeing what I'm doing properly, just listen to what I'm saying. Okay, then you can also watch our videos. Okay, you will understand it more better. Okay, so for the neckline, we'll be taking for the front, we'll be taking 4 inches. Okay, 4 inches. Then for the back, 1 inch. Then for the neck width, we'll be using 3 inches. Okay. Okay, so now I can go ahead and cut this out. But before then, we said something as looking at the picture, you will see that there's a ruffle at the chest line, like from the shoulder to the chest line to the upper to the other shoulder. Okay, so this chest line I'm working with for this client is 7 inches. Okay, all right, so which is here. So we work on this at the front part of the dress. Okay, all right, so I can just go ahead and cut this out. Then we will now do our lines where our ruffles will be. Okay, I'll just first of all cut out the initial armhole, that's the one for the back, before cutting out the front one. So I can now separate this now and cut out my front armhole and the neckline for the front also. Okay, for the neckline, I won't be cutting out a facing for it because I'm not going to be lining this. It has an inner already for the dress because it's transparent. Okay, so what I'll be doing is if you look at the picture, you will see that there's another neck attached to the neckline. Okay, So we will be cutting out that after we must have joined the two shoulders together, then take back the round neck, then now cut out the collar that we'll be attaching to it. Okay, all right. So here, remember that this line we marked here was the 7 inches for our the ruffles. Okay, so I'll just open this up at the front piece. Okay, let me just remark the line. Okay, so from here, from this shoulder now, you can take a measurement of it so that you will know exactly what you want or what you are connecting. Okay, so I can just say from the shoulder here. Of course, I will be leaving an allowance to attach the neckline. So from the half an inch to attach the other neck that I will be attaching to the neckline. Okay, then I'll be using 1.5 inches. Okay, all right. So here also I will mark 1.5 inches. Okay, so from here now I will just connect it. Then from this 1.5 also I will connect this and just do a free sketch. Okay, so my ruffle now will be here. So since it's a two-step, the other one will follow suit at the back this way. Okay, so this one now we now pass the 7 inches. Okay, I'll just connect it here. Okay, so now we'll be making our ruffles from this point to here, then from here again to this point. Okay, so the next thing I will do is to notch out the midpoint because I'll be having a flap here, but the flap won't be opening, and I would use a button to design it. Okay, it will look as if you can open it, but it's just for fancy. Okay, so I'll just get the midpoint. Okay, so this is my midpoint now. So I'll just notch it. So I'll be using this plain fabric. This is a satin fabric. So I'll be making use of this now to cut out the flap. Okay, so here I'll just determine the length that I want the flap to be. Okay, so from those 4 inches now I can just decide to make it here, which is actually the bust point, but I want it to pass the bust point, so I'll be making the flap to reach like 12 inches. Okay, let's do it like this. This is the 7 inches for the chest line, then this is the bust point, which is 10 inches. Okay, so here I want it to pass the bust point measurement. Okay, so here I'll be marking 12 or 13 inches. Okay, let me use 13 inches. So this is where our flap will end. Okay, so from those 4 inches now I have 9 inches. Okay, all right, so I'll be cutting out the 9 inches for the flap. Okay, from those points here I just folded my fabric into two. So remember that what we measured was 9 inches, but I've decided to add 1 extra inch to it to make it 10 inch, okay? 10 inches. So, and I'll be adding extra inch for the sewing, okay? So here I'll add half an inch, making it 10 and a half. For the length and for the width, I'll be using 2.5 inches, okay? So I'll just come up by 1.5 inch. So here I have 2.5, so I'll just find the midpoint, which is 1.25. So this is the midpoint. So what I will do now is to connect, okay, to connect from this edge to the center and from this part again to the center, okay, just this way. I'll just connect to the center, and from this side I'll just connect to the midpoint, okay. So I can just go ahead now and cut this out. Let me just first of all cut out this. Okay. Then I'll also open up this side. Okay. So I can now trim out this point. So I'll just sew this way, then now turn it up, okay? After which I will now place it on the center front, then now put my buttons, okay? So next thing now is just to cut out a round piece for the ruffles. Okay, so here I have a length of more than 60 inches for the length, okay? So you can use as much as you want, depending on how you want the gather to be. So this will serve for the first line and this will serve for the second line, okay? I won't be lining it, instead I will be weaving up the boat's mouth, okay? Then after that I will now pleat it at the front part of our front piece, okay? I will sew this way. The bigger parts will be facing this way, so that after pleating it will come this way, okay? Then the second line will follow suit, okay? Then I'll pleat the second one down the same way, then it will come this way, okay? So I'll just gather it this way, just gather it round. Okay, so I'll just go to the machine now, do my weaving first, then attach the ruffles at the front part. Then after which I will turn my my flap, then place it at the front part of the dress. Okay, all right. Okay, so as you can see, I've neatly pleated the ruffles at the neck, at the chest line. Okay, so I pleat this way. Then I also pleated the second one so that it will come down this way. You can also go ahead to top stitch it at the upper part so that it will be firm. Okay, or you can just use your iron to do that. So the next thing I will do now is to impute the flap. Okay, so as you can see, I've neatly lined it and turn it, then use my iron to make it to be flat. Okay, so here is the place that we notch, which serves as the center front. Okay, so here I'll also notch here the center of this, then place it this way. Okay, so we have something like this. I'm going to stitch this at the edge. I'll just follow the shape this way. Okay, so I'll go do that now. Then join the front and the back shoulders together. Okay, I'll just join the shoulders. Then next thing is to attach our sleeve, then use the body measurement to close it up. Okay, I've joined the back and the front of the dress, and I've also attached my sleeve. Remember, we say that we are attaching a short sleeve, not 3/4 as seen in the picture. Okay, all right. So the next thing I will do now is to take back my round measurement. So when you look at those back parts, you will notice that when attaching my zip, I don't reach to the end of the zip. Okay, because we are still going to attach something at the neckline, which we also approach to this ending part. So that's why I left this space. Okay, so that after attaching that, you can now close it, sew the zip up to that point. Okay, so what I will do next now is just to take my round neck, starting from this edge here to the other edge. So when I measured it round, I have 27 inches. Okay, I would have used this fabric to cut out what will be on the neckline, but we have shortage of that, so I'll be using this satin, okay, for the neck. Okay, so I'll just fold my satin into 4, then divide the 27 by 4. Okay, so when I divide 27 by 4, I have 6.75. Okay, so I'll just fold this into 4 as if we are cutting a peplum. Okay, so I'll just fold it into 4. Then I will take my measurement. Okay, so from this point now, I will take our 6.75. So I'll just mark the 6.75 round. Hope you are seeing my chalk. Okay, so I just connected the dotted lines that I marked Okay, so the next thing to do is to take up by 1 inch or by 2 inches, depending on how wide you want it to be. Okay, so here I want it to be just 1 inch, but I'll be marking 1.5. Remember that this upper part now that we are marking will be the one that will be touching the upper neck. Okay, why this 6.75 will be the one that will be attached to the dress. Okay, so remember that we need some allowances to join this to the dress, and also we need some allowances here because this will be lining this up to have a neat work. Okay, so we need another one to attach to the lining. Okay, so for that I use 0.25 for my stitching. So if you use half an inch for your stitching, that should, then you want to use 1 inch. Okay, for the wideness you will use 2 inches, but since I'm using 0.25 for my stitching, I'll be using 1.5 inches. So from here now I will mark 1.5 inches. So I will mark this 1.5 inches round. Okay, hope you are understanding what I'm doing or seeing what I'm doing. So from this now I'll just mark my 1.5 inches round. So after that I will just connect this. Okay, so here now I will cut out this and I will cut out this. Remember that we divided by 4 and not by 6.28. If you divide by 6.28, you will end up having a shorter fabric. It will end up not being equal to the neckline that you are going to attach it to. Okay, so you divide by 4. So this is what we have. Okay, so I'll just use this now to cut out the second piece. So I folded into 4 again, so I'll just take this now and place to this point. Okay, so I'll just cut this out. That's my lining. So I'll also open up one edge this way. So this is what we have. So when I go to my machine now, I'm stitching up back, front face, faces front face, or faces back face, anyone, but just make sure that okay, since it's the same thing, I would like it to face each other. So let's front face, face front face. Okay, this way. But anyone, just make, what I will just want to clarify here is that you are going to stitch up the upper part. Okay, so we are going to stitch up this upper part. Okay, so when I stitch this out, I will now flip it. You can also close up here and the other end. Then I will now turn it before stitching up this down part. I'm not going to be turning out this down part because I will also attach it to the fabric. Okay, so I'm just turning out here so that the one that will be touching the neck will be will be clean, okay, so that it will be neat. So I'm just turning up only this upper part. Then when I turn it, I will now close up here, then attach it to the neck line. Then after attaching it to the neckline, I will just use the body measurement to close this up, then hem my hemline. Okay, all right. So after I attach this way to the down part of my dress, after sewing it and turning it, I will now attach it to the neckline. Okay, this down one will be attached to the neckline. Okay, then I will now close up, sew it up to my zipper and do the finishing, and that will be all. So I'll just come back and show you the finishing part of our work. If you're still watching till now, thank you so much, and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, so this is the result of our dress. As you can see, it comes out very beautiful. Sorry, I won't be trying it on because it's not mine and it's not the size of my mannequin. Okay, all right, but just follow the steps and you will get it right. So thank you so much for watching till the end. Till we meet in my next class. Love you all. Bye.